Good morning, everyone. It's Saturday, which means it's time for yet another salty Saturday morning. I am your host, Mr. Kadish, and I'm really excited because today we're going to do something different. We're going to stretch outside of our normal format just a little bit and have a little bit of fun. But before we get into it, I want to introduce my fantastic panel of nerds, starting with the man, the myth, the legend, Dutch Butters. How you doing, Dutch?
Hi. This better be good today. I'm just saying. We better not talk about crypto, finances, and that kind of stuff, so it'll be good. It'll be good. What's up, everybody? Man, I had something funny to say, but I forgot what I was going to say. So
as usual, it was going to be brilliant.
Yeah. That's good. That's it.
It was going to be funny.
It was going to be really funny, but it wasn't. So, hi, everybody. How we doing?
All right. Well, speaking of funny, he's here. He's queer. He's Brian from the Popcast. How you doing, Brian?
What's happening? Not bad, man. Not bad. Glad to be here. Love my salty Saturdays. Glad to see Michelle, Odin, Dutch, and of course, Mr. Cage.
Yep. And guys, stay tuned because we're going to be filling you in on what's going on with Brian right after the show. But
something's going on with Brian.
What?
Well, he's got his normal show.
Oh, God!
It sounded like something bad was going to happen.
For a minute there, I was like, "Wait, am I dying?"
I thought he had syphilis or something. So I don't know.
Well, he'll probably pass away by the time his next video is generated.
Yeah, it's true. It's taken me a long time. So,
yeah. But fresh from Vatican City, Odin of OMB Reviews, we got a new pope.
We have a pope. Yes, indeed, an American at that. Crazy USA, times to USA. I was saying before the show, it's been funny watching these videos of these high schoolers all watching it all together because it happened just around the time school was still in session. And just to see some of them realize it's an American and then start to cheer and shout and even start yelling USA, USA. It was pretty fun to see. But yeah, excited to be here and see what this AI whatever has come up with as far as our topics.
It's funny because I think I saw the meme that said Trump's tariff plan has been so effective that even the Pope's made in America. And I was like, yeah, that tracks. But wasn't it under Kennedy where everyone was afraid that the Pope was going to be running the country?
Oh, because people's misunderstanding of what Catholicism actually is. Yeah.
All right. You know what isn't a misunderstanding is the one and only Michelle with 2 L's from Force of Light Entertainment. We've known Michelle since she started her channel, and we've been rooting for him. But, Odin, you mentioned AI, and I'm convinced that Natalie is just an AI avatar. I think Michelle calls her up when she needs a break, and Natalie, just reads from the program script, and then she disappears. So how you doing, Michelle?
I'm doing good. Good to be here. Natalie might be able to make an appearance a little bit later on.
Yeah, when you boot up your AI computer.
Exactly. But thank you for having me.
I feel like Natalie's a lot like Bruce Wayne. You know how you never see Bruce Wayne and Batman together in the same place. It's like Natalie, I'm not even convinced she's real. So you gotta be careful about that. But Michelle, congratulations on hitting 50K subs. That's a big milestone for a YouTuber.
Well, thank you.
And you guys are well on your way to 100K, and that's when you get to play with the big boys. So not to sound patriarchal or anything like that.
They already passed me, so I mean,
as someone who has 100K, it's not that special. I remember they told you, well, you get your own rep, you get to talk to someone if you have problems. I'm like, the rep I got was a guy that just responds in nothing but canned images and links to the support channel. I'm like, okay,
Brian, stop mansplaining to Michelle. You don't need to.
It's not worth it.
Your bubble.
His name's Stefan. Stefan, the mansplainer.
Yes. All right, guys. So speaking of mansplaining, I got some people to shout out. We got Scotty Dub for $500, who is our top contributor and our top super chatter. He is yet undefeated on that $500 super chat. So big shout out to Scotty Dub. Then we got Made You Say Butts, who he's been kind of lurking, but he hasn't been challenging Scotty. So I think he might be completely defeated by now. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. And of course, we got Mexican Iron Man, who is our most consistent donator. And we'll see. I don't think he's here yet, but he normally shows up at some point in the stream. And then we've got our top gifters, Jillian H., the artist formerly known as Jillian N., Major Chai Chai, and Eric Winberg. These guys are in the chat every Saturday dropping gifted subs. And I promise, guys, very soon we'll be making those gifted subs worth it. We've been kind of lax on the members content because Dutch Butters has been so focused on the gaming channel along with Alex. And it's just kind of split our focus. And I'm so busy, I just don't have the time. But we will have the time very soon. I want to give a big shout out to Anthony Mark, who's a member for 19 months. 19 months. Thank you so much, Anthony Mark. And he says, congratulations to Michelle and Natalie on 50,000 subscribers. Yes, big milestone. And of course, we have Eric Winberg for his obligatory One Salty Nerd podcast gifted membership. And Hemorrhoid Hertz is up at the ass crack of dawn, even before dawn, because he's out in Australia for $2. Fell asleep at 7 p.m., which means I'm up at 3 a.m. timing. Yes. Appreciate you always being awake for our show, Hemorrhoid Hertz. You are a officer and a gentleman. And of course, his ears must have been burning. Mexican Iron Man for $9.99. I'm at the range training with Echo Base and Tom F. from Park Place Channel in the rain like Juan Wick, listening to the outdoor range. Yes, he's going to have to change his name, guys, from Mexican Iron Man to Mexican Juan Wick.
Juan Wick.
Juan Wick. And guys, real quick, our goal for today is 10 new gifted memberships, or just members in general. So if you guys are interested in supporting the channel, give out those gifted memberships or subscribe yourselves. And not to be outdone by the Force of Light ladies, one of which is not real. We want to hit our 25,000 sub goal. So be sure to share around our show if you like it. Subscribe if you haven't already. We gotta get those 25K subs before the end of the year, guys. Otherwise, Michelle's gonna laugh at us. So, and then we got our Salty Nerd disc. You'll be sitting there smoking your cigar, being like, "No, you can't even hit 25K subs. Look at these losers. We're well on our way to 100."
No.
We got saltynerddiscord.com, which is where the community is living outside of the live stream. So if you guys like video games and you like movies and TV shows and all that good stuff, head over to Salty Nerd Discord and join our community. Dutch, you're pretty active over there. What's going on in the Discord?
We're talking about video games a lot. We got a lot of people complaining about video games, and I'm sitting in here trying to, stamp out some fires and stuff like I do all the time. And, just a lot of fun discussions.
Stuff.
Yeah, typical Discord stuff. A lot of people who think they know a lot of stuff about nothing. Amazing.
Well, speaking of good stuff, Mephisto's movie reviews is going to be going on after our show. He does the Real McCoy podcast, so be sure to check that out. But if you're interested in supporting one of our panelists, we've got The Brain Show going on immediately after this show. He normally took a half-hour break, but now he just takes it long enough to pee into his Depends and then goes right live. Right?
Yeah, it's pretty much it. I just I pee into my diaper and I start the stream. So
yeah. So you got something going on with Kanye today?
Oh boy.
Yeah, we're talking about Kanye, and that's going to be an interesting method of attempting to tiptoe around all of that horribleness, because you can't say any of that on YouTube. And the guy made a song and I can't say it. So it's pretty bad. But what's really bad is that all the people making remixes on TikTok and Twitch and saying how great it is and that it's quote unquote slaps. I'm like, oh God.
Well, there's no accounting for taste. Am I right? Speaking of taste, guys, if you're wondering where Tom Connors Jr. is, he is somewhere eating cereal and sleeping. He has actually perfected the art of sleeping while eating cereal. So he's probably going to show up late. But Michelle just informed us that Natalie might be joining us as soon as she re-ups her Runway ML and HeyGen credits so that, she can actually appear on screen at the same time. But that's all good. Okay, guys, so let's get into the show. Now, I don't know if you guys remember or not, but last week, as we were doing our outros, Dutch Butters called me out with how stupid the topics were for that day. And he's been giving me shit about what we talk about on this live stream pretty much since the day that we started doing it.
Yeah.
So I said, well, next week, Dutch, you can choose the topics. And he was like, oh, no.
I said, I'm too busy doing important things.
Yes, exactly. So what I did was I took the collective knowledge of Dutch Butters and programmed a AI who is a perfect neuro clone of Dutch. And I asked him, I'm calling him Butch Dutters. So I was like, Butch Dutters, what topics should we talk about and discuss on this Saturday's live stream? Okay, so what I want to do is I want to introduce you guys to Butch Dutters.
Oh boy.
Right now.
Hey guys, AI Dutch Butters here. And I was created because the real Dutch Butters thinks the topics for this show are stupid. So I came up with some awesome topics to talk about today. Questions that are easy to understand and answer and require no reading or homework. You can't get much sweeter than that. So buckle up, nerds. Things are about to get cray-cray. Also, press F for AI feet in the chat.
That is
You guys
so
are-
weird. Creepy.
That is so weird.
I don't like
That's
it.
legit AI.
That is not me.
Burn it with
Butch-
fire.
Butch
Burn it with
Duster.
fire, please.
It sounds just freaking like me, man. That is. I'm
Yes,
kind
Butch
of,
Dutters.
bro. I'm kind of spooked right now, to be honest with
Yeah.
you. That is the craziest thing I've ever seen.
Yes. Well, it's about to get crazier, Dutch. But yeah,
Oh
for
my
those of you who want to
God.
see AI Dutch Butters feet in the chat, press F. But that's neither here nor there, because basically AI Dutch Butters came up with a long series of
Oh my
very easy
God.
to understand, no homework required topics to discuss.
Oh boy.
And since Michelle is the only lady on the panel right now, we're going to be starting with her because ladies first. We are gentlemen here on the panel.
I like
But
it.
here is the first topic that AI Dutch Butters wants to discuss.
When did every action movie become a therapy session with guns? I don't care about complex heroes and generational trauma. I just want to see stuff blow up.
So Michelle, when did action movies become therapy sessions?
Well, I guess it happened sometime soon. I mean, we watch a lot of old movies for our reactions, and they definitely were not that way in the 90s and early 2000s, is all I can say.
That's true. Guys, what do you think? Action movies being just therapy sessions about generational trauma?
Have you guys seen Thunderbolts?
No.
Not yet.
Unfortunately.
Oh yeah. So Thunderbolts is actually a pretty good movie.
No, it's not.
It is. It's.
I'm so
I mean,
tired of people saying that it is. It's not.
As far as Marvel standards go, it's.
Oh my gosh, that's
One of
that's
the-
the worst argument to make, though.
All right,
it's like,
stop. Let me
well, it's
finish
not
my
complete
point.
trash,
Okay,
so it must be
let me-
good.
All right, good, whatever. The thing about Thunderbolts is that every time there's an action sequence, there's also like a long conversation they have about their feelings, and that was like my biggest criticism. So when you said that, my instant thought was Thunderbolts. Like they got to work out all their generational trauma, their interpersonal issues, and it's sometimes you just want to see people blow shit up and shoot people and kick butt. I don't need that much depth to my action stars.
Yeah,
That's
Dutch, do you
interesting.
agree with your twin?
I don't know. What he wants to know, when we started watching movies for therapy, or when did we start going to therapy
Bro,
sessions?
it's your
depending on what the-
mind. That was just
Yeah.
Bro,
goodness.
listen, that motherfucker's gonna put in worse questions than this guy over here. I have a feeling, it's like you don't understand.
Well, Butch Dutters
I-
just wants to see stuff blow up, and he's tired
Well,
of action movies.
You're
honestly,
calling
I'm
it
giving
Butch
it right now.
Duster.
When I want to watch a good action movie that's fairly new and modern, that doesn't have a bunch of nonsense in it, I like something like the original John Wick movie. So maybe is that the answer to the question? Did we start watching movies to go back to how we felt back in the 80s? When Commando and Total Recall and Cobra and stuff was out, because that's the kind of feeling I get when I watch John Wick. But I don't know. It's an interesting question. I guess Brian's probably right though. I don't know. Weird.
As usual.
I'm freaking out internally right now, man. That thing is that thing is psycho. It's like I told my wife this morning, Kadish has got some weird stuff planned, and that I'm gonna have my AI self, who I hadn't even seen yet, call her and see if I can trick her into thinking it was actually me. And I think we can really do that now. That's what's freaking me out. And she would probably divorce me if I did that to her. So she is not down with the AI stuff. So yeah, dude, I'm freaking out right now. That is super weird. But yeah, let's go.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but I'm a lot like Tony Stark. I just kind of like develop super advanced stuff in my basement. And I had an extra computer lying around. And luckily, it didn't take much memory to recreate Dutch Butter's neural pathways.
I'm a little retarded, dude. So it's fine. I get it.
Yeah, basically, I just fed in. I told it to watch every single episode of the Salty Nerd podcast.
There's
like what it came up with.
You know, like I'm 80% normal. I'm 10% gay, and probably 10% little downs in there. So it's fine. It's fine. I get it. You know, just like every human.
Wait, all of the things are why 10% gay? Where did that come
because
from?
everybody's got a little bit of gay in them. Everybody, you know. Otherwise,
everyone.
Even you, Odin.
Odin's at least 5% gay.
Why are you gay?
Probably that's like a little more repressed than the rest of us, you know. So it's okay.
Well. Speaking of Odin, you had some issues with the Thunderbolts movie. I want to hear your take on why can't movies just blow shit up anymore?
Oh my gosh. Well, since you had AI ask us the question, I asked AI for an answer on this. And according to AI, it started back around in the 2000s, and the first movie it lists, interestingly enough, is The Dark Knight from 2008. And it says there, because Batman grapples with morality, loss, and the chaos of the Joker, reflecting on his role as a hero. And again, obviously, we could probably think of many other examples prior to that, even in the 80s and 90s. But I think that really the quintessential example of this therapy session is Thunderbolts. That's all that it is. It's a massive therapy session masquerading as an MCU movie. And because it happens to be competently made to the point where you have good acting in the film, you've got some fun sequences in it, people automatically think, oh, it's not complete dog crap, it must be good. It's basically that same argument that people come up with, well, hey, it's not woke. Okay, hey, it's not woke is not a good argument for a movie, and ultimately the film still fails on many levels, but most especially because it's a therapy session film, and that's all that it is.
I'll be honest here, I haven't seen Thunderbolts yet, but it is the first Marvel MCU movie that's come out in quite some time to where I think I might go try to pick up a matinee viewing of it and watch it here pretty soon, simply because it's got the community so split. I mean, there's guys out there that I very much trust their opinions of that love this movie.
I know.
And there's other people that I keep on the same shelf that hate this movie. So usually it's not that split. So this is one of the few movies out there that I think I'm just gonna have to go.
It's an objective versus subjective. So, the people that hate it because objectively it's really bad. But the people who love it, it's just because that subjective experience that you can't always explain, right? You just can't always explain why you like a movie or why you're drawn to a film. I think that's really what the argument's coming down to.
Well, you know what we don't argue about is beautiful ladies on this show, and we got "Fuck You, Fat Hoe" for $1.99.
I love how that's the same asking.
Are you single, Michelle, or are you taken?
You know,
and then
wow, come on, man,
and then "Fuck You, Fat Hoe" for $1.99. Michelle is a B, a U, a T, full.
Well, thank you,
Michelle. I'm so sorry.
Yes. Michelle classes up the joint.
Our chat has no class. It is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Indeed. You know what else is unbelievable is yet another topic from AI Dutch Butters.
Oh boy.
Do aliens still want to invade Earth after seeing what gets posted on Twitter?
Michelle, what do you think about that? Do aliens still want to invade after seeing the garbage humans put out into the world?
Well, it could go two ways. The aliens could say, man, these people are so dumb and easy to manipulate. This is like taking candy from a baby. That's one option. The other option is they get on Twitter for a few minutes and they're like, let's just go back. Not worth it. Not worth this drama. Let's get out of here.
We don't even want to conquer these people.
Not worth it.
Exactly. Dutch Butters, do you ever think about that?
Not really in that context, no. I think the aliens, they're just waiting for us to cook a little bit more. They want us to get a little fatter, so before they can start putting us in the ovens. America is on the right path. We're all getting fat and out of shape and soft and plump and juicy. So the rest of the planet needs to catch up, though. So we need to get everybody fed and fattened up.
Well, Brian, what really upsets me about Butch Dutters' question there is that I spent all this time and effort training him, and he still refuses to call X anything other tthan Twitter.
Yeah. That's a good point.
And I've been on the call it X train, so that is not exactly a perfect copy of me.
No, it's not.
We need to give him some time to evolve, I think.
Yeah, it's so weird, dude.
But
I'm glad you made him so he can sit there with you in your office and keep you company during the day. So that's good.
Yes, I have deep thought conversations with Dutch. Where basically, I asked the Dutch AI. I was like, "Hey, can you do this for me?" He's like, "No, fuck you." So it's just like having Dutch there in the office.
Can we get Butch? Is Butch Dutters and
Butch Dutters
and Shane in the same room? The Shane AI, and have
I'm
them
sure we can.
hang out?
We can make it happen as soon as Brian's finished generating all of his videos. But Odin, I saw on Twitter. Kind of
pay
funny,
for mine though, bro. Okay.
After Ellen DeGeneres made a big deal about leaving the United States for the UK after Trump got elected, it's been announced that her and Portia de Rossi don't feel safe in the UK and want to move back to America.
What?
And as we all know, the UK, they arrest people for memes and all that stuff. So yeah, I saw this on Twitter. They basically said like, yeah, we're coming back. We can't. We don't like it here. So, but what are your thoughts on that? Should the aliens still invade?
Okay, well, a couple things. First off, I don't believe in aliens, so that's the first thing. So all that talk is mostly nonsense. But as far as her returning, personally, I think it's a great opportunity for the president to revoke their citizenship and say, nope, you betrayed our country by leaving it, and you can't come back.
But she could restart her talk show.
No, she could just stay over there. We don't want her back.
Yeah. Stay
with Rosie.
Hey, you wanted to abandon America and you wanted to bring anything and everything with you over there to start up a new life. Hey, that's your choice and you made it. But guess what? That sounds to me like you were basically saying, yeah, I'm renouncing my citizenship to a certain degree.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Michelle, not to get too political, but what do you think about what's going on over in the UK with all the speech restrictions and stuff like that?
Yeah, I think it's really it's really unfortunate, but I think it's as Americans we should remember there were reasons why we separated. So I think things like this just kind of show we're glad, at least I know I can trace my lineage back to being a daughter of the revolution that our forefathers fought for freedom and separation from whatever Britain's going to do, because and that's just one aspect of scary what's going on over there. So I hope they figure it out and get things together a little better over there.
Yeah, hopefully. All right, guys, real quick, we got a members chat from Samuel Schwager, who gifted 1 Salty Nerd Podcast membership. Thanks, Sam Schwager.
Sam. Appreciate
you. Then we got Kalikioki for $2. Can we fire AI Dutch? I came here for topics. This is what happens when
AI
you don't
Dutch
like my topics. Yeah.
AI Dutch has already gotten 10 times better topics than Kadish comes up with every week. So
there you go. Mission accomplished. All right, then we got Mark of Reality for $5. Do you think that Elon's Neurolink project has aided in the programming or creation of AI? Bueller?
Yeah, I don't know.
No, I think probably the other way around.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
I think AI has helped Neurolink, not the other way around.
Although I do find it fascinating. I know a lot of people don't like the whole Neuralink thing, but I think it's kind of awesome. And I feel like I was born 50 years too soon, because I am totally one of those guys that wants a socket in the back of my brain that I can plug a chip into and go,
100%.
Whoa, I know Chinese now. Dang, now I'm a freaking mathematician. Oh, where's that kung fu chip? Yeah, let's do it. Let's go.
I know kung fu.
Whoa.
Like Chuck.
So,
I want that. Yeah, like Chuck. Exactly. I want either that, either the Matrix or the Intersect. One of the two.
Mm-hmm.
I'll take either one of those things.
I take the Intersect.
I'll take the Intersect any day of the week.
The Johnny Mnemonic thing where he uploads stuff into his brain to to deliver the information, that kind of thing.
Michelle's on point. The Intersect is the closest comparison to Neurolink, I think.
The Intersect. What is
Yeah.
that?
Chuck.
From the show
Oh, from Chuck.
Zachary
Oh,
I never
Levi.
saw that.
Oh, that's
Well,
a good
guys,
show.
Great show.
I apologize if you hear yard work going on, because for some reason a neighbor decided to start his leaf blower at 10:30 a.m. on a Saturday,
How
right when
dare
we're
they.
getting
Yeah, that's a good time. It's
That's
cool.
That's a
It's
normal.
cooler.
That's a normal time for that.
It's
man.
But what
cooler
you
in
do
the
is-
morning.
No,
You
it's
open,
not here in
open the
Vegas,
window
dude.
and
Not here in Vegas.
just shoot a shot into the middle of the into the air and just freak him out. He'll turn it off for at least an hour.
Actually, just to expand on that, you are correct. 10:30 a.m. is not the correct time of that for doing that. The normal time is when all the little yard guys come around at 6:30 in the morning and start up all their wind blowers outside. That is the normal time, 6:37 a.m. So
Mhm.
Yes,
Very
but
good.
I apologize if you hear leaf blowing going on. But in the meantime, we have yet
I need
another.
you
another
should call Mexican Iron Man and have him call his dude to turn his
Yeah.
wind blower off.
Yeah, they all know
Okay.
each other.
They all
So
know each
They all know each other.
he's like, hey,
Yo,
go on,
Jose,
turn it
Jose, turn it off. Let's go. My bud's trying to do a show up there.
right.
off. Hey, amigo.
But Butch Dutters
Oh,
has
no.
yet another discussion topic for us.
Modern rom-coms don't even have a hot best friend anymore. What happened to the funny, slutty roommate, man? She was the real MVP. We need more of those in movies.
Yeah. So what happened to the slutty comedic relief best friend, Michelle?
Well, I think in order to have that, you'd have to have rom-coms again. We don't have really romances, even dramas, say back in the day. Like growing up as a kid, I enjoyed movies like Stepmom, like just true dramas that were, had two really good female actresses in it, things like that. Like we really don't get any of this today, including rom-coms. So they've all gone bye-bye. So there definitely can't be a loose living best friend because we don't have the movies.
Yeah, Odin, Michelle makes a great point. There don't seem to be anything other than Marvel movies being made and released anymore.
Yeah, I would agree. I'm trying to find what another list of what are some modern examples of rom-coms, because even the rom-coms that do exist are just other they're all mixed of genre mixes, basically, right?
Yeah.
So, for instance, again, since AI is asking these questions, I don't think it's appropriate to ask AI for help on these things. And so the Fall Guy is listed, and yeah, there's some romantic comedy elements to that, but it's also an action film, right? So there's a bit more to it. And then you've got the weird ones like Challengers, which is listed as a rom-com, but I wouldn't really call that romance based on everything that I heard
It's not
about
romance.
that movie.
It's not. So, it's not funny or romance.
There you
I'm
go.
not sure where you get the rom-com. There's no romance or comedy.
Take it
in
up
that
with
movie.
Grok. Take it up with Grok. It's listing
That's
it
ridiculous.
here as
That movie is so boring and so perverse. It's
yeah.
but there are movies like Shotgun Wedding with Jennifer Lopez. That's one of my favorite movies. That's would be considered a rom-com, and that was pretty recent. My wife and I really like that movie. It's super funny and it's romantic. I suggest that actually. If you have not seen that, Michelle, watch
haven't.
Shotgun Wedding. Shotgun Wedding
Careful.
with J-Lo and I'm forgetting his name, but he's awesome.
Is
He's
it on
he's like-
Prime?
It's on Prime. Yeah, I'm forgetting his name right now. He was in the Friendship Games, whatever it's called. He was like a TV actor for the longest time. Then he was in Transformers. He's a really good.
Josh Duhamel or
Yes,
Duhamel
Jamal.
or
Yes,
whatever
yes,
his
yeah.
name
That guy. He is really great, and he's so good now in his older age. Like he has the gray in his hair. He's still a heartthrob, but he's really great in that movie because his reaction to how ridiculous J-Lo is so perfect. It's a very good movie. You should watch it.
Okay.
Do you think he modeled his performance after Ben Affleck, Brian?
Dude, it had that vibe. Yeah, have you ever seen that clip, that TMZ clip of Affleck opening the car door for J-Lo? She gets in and he looks at the camera, looks at the sky, and then slams the door in frustration and just walks around. He is so my vibe whenever he's with J-Lo. And yeah, Josh has that same vibe in that movie. It's very good.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Dutch? Do you think that more movies could have a comedic hot best friend?
Sure, I guess. I mean, first off, your AI me is flawed because I would never give a crap about rom-com sidekicks. Not ever in a million worlds. In fact,
Wouldn't
I
the
don't
main
even,
character have to be attractive in order to have attractive
Yeah,
best friends?
yeah.
Because we don't have attractive leads anymore either.
right.
Yeah.
I mean, I just asked my phone who's a slutty best friend in a rom-com, and it pooped out Semi from Coming to America, which was kind of a weird answer. You know,
What about the bee in Apartment 23? That's a slutty. That's a slutty friend
So
in a romance comedy kind of TV show.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
You know, most of the best friends are gay now, right?
Oh,
Like,
they
Yeah.
have to be, almost always.
Yeah.
yeah.
They're like
so,
secretly jealous that their friend is
Yeah.
dating a guy or something. Yeah,
Mhm.
you would have to have an attractive lead character in order to have an attractive slutty best friend, and we don't get that anymore. In fact, in most movies now, it's like such a rare thing for like the main characters that aren't men to just be attractive. Now it's like, I guess beauty is in the eye of the beholder, I guess, because I don't know. It's like most of the leads now are just objectively not attractive, and I get it. Maybe they're just super talented, but I don't think they're talented either. So a lot of movies are sort of garbage right now.
Yeah.
I mean, they have been garbage for quite some time.
Right.
But
Shotgun Wedding is a good movie.
what was that movie that Sydney Sweeney did with the guy
Anyone
from
But You. I
Twisters?
hated that film.
Yeah, but it did really well on Netflix, right?
Oh, it did really well in theaters. In fact, that movie's well, there's two movies I think of that prove the point of how hungry like the female audience is for something. That movie, because that was like the first big rom-com released in a long time. It made over 200 million on not a very big budget. And then also, and I did not like this movie either, but Blake Lively's movie that's caused all the drama. It Ends With Us. That's not a rom-com, but it's more a romance slash whatever else you want to call it. That movie made over 200 million with like a $25 million budget because again, they've thought women want like Marvel movies and women just don't really care.
You know, Michelle, I wanted to ask you while you're on the show because you've been getting a little bit of flack about your take on Sinners. And I recently went and saw I recently went and saw Sinners, and I was like, this is the movie everyone's raving about. Like, it was just okay. Like, it wasn't like terribly
okay.
bad or anything like that, but
It's not bad for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it was just like a meh type movie. Like the middle music sequence was really cool, but other than that, it was just like From Dusk Till Dawn and a period piece. So like I didn't understand all the praise for it. I'm thinking it's just because like, you know, it's kind of like the Luke Cage syndrome because it's, you know, all black filmmakers and cast and stuff like that, that it's getting, you know, praised, not unjustifiably, but like overly praised for political reasons. But you've been openly criticized by just saying you didn't like the movie, right?
I have. I've learned that the definition of racism has changed. It is no longer it is no longer if you have like hate towards another race, but it is actually whether or not you liked Sinners. And if you don't like Sinners, that's a judge of your heart. So
true.
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't like the Marvels? You're sexist. You didn't like Sinners? You're racist. Like,
Yes.
what? Maybe it's also possible, just hear me out, that they're bad movies. Like it could be a bad movie, right? I didn't think Sinners was a bad movie. I also didn't think it was a good movie. It was just okay. It actually felt like sort of a low budget horror movie. It didn't feel very. I mean, I guess Dusk Till Dawn can technically be called an okay movie too, but maybe we see it through rose-colored glasses because it's one of my favorite all-time movies, and that's possible. It's also because Selma Hayek's in it, and you know, there's a lot of reasons why I like that movie. But it's not a great movie. It's just an okay movie.
Also, if you like fast-paced movies, Sinners isn't for you. Like,
no.
It take a long time to get to.
Really like, dragged out.
I do not mind if a movie takes its time. In fact, some of the movies I love from the 70s very much take their time. But Sinners, my big critique is after that first scene, there's a solid 35 minutes where I literally turned to who was with me and I said, I forgot I'm in a horror film, because we leave the genre of horror and we go to just drama. Because usually even in a horror movie, even if it kind of is, not scary, there's some haunting music, there's some eerie feel, like there's something that still lets you know what you're in. And this movie just devolves into a drama for legitimately 35 to 40 minutes.
Yeah, it takes its sweet time. I mean, like, it's a good period piece and it's a decent horror movie, but at the same time, it's just kind of like, pick a lane and get on with it. They never explained what the Native Americans were doing. Native Americans are these vampire hunters, and they just kind of like fuck off because, like, we know that the guy's hiding here, but the sun's coming down and we want to get back home.
Can I suggest a better movie? If you were like, you know what, I don't want to watch Sinners, but I want to watch that type of movie. A better movie would be Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter.
Yeah,
I'd probably like it better.
Classic. Yeah. That's a classic right there.
Watch that movie. It sounds ridiculous.
What the hell's wrong with
and
you?
Guess what? It is ridiculous, but it's fun, and it's about vampires, and it's a period piece about vampires, and it has Abraham freaking Lincoln in it as a vampire hunter. Watch it, Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. It's worth the watch for sure. And guess what? You won't be racist for watching it or not liking it.
Yep.
You know what else is fun and ridiculous, Brian? Is fuck you, fat hoe for $1.99.
Oh God.
Oh, Michelle, is there a rom in the future?
A romance in the future?
I think this guy's trying to spit game, Michelle.
Yeah, he's doing a terrible job.
He's trying to spit that game.
Well, we'll have to see, I guess.
In Japan, man come first, woman come second.
Dude, he is not in Japan. He is from like Omaha, Nebraska.
Yeah, that dude is a white guy.
Bald guy sitting in front of his 17-inch computer.
Fuck you, fat hoe for $1.99. Alien already invaded. They inhabited the lefties.
Yeah, that's funny. Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
But Brian,
no wonder why they don't know their pronouns. What was that, Michelle?
Oh, I was just gonna say, I've never seen Till Dusk Till Dawn, so I'm hearing the movie's like a total rip off of that film.
Yeah, so when I watched Sinners, it had the same general vibe, but Dusk Till Dawn moves a lot faster, and the acting in Dusk Till Dawn, in my opinion, is better. Not because the actors are better actors, but because the way they're shot and framed, it has more style to it. It's funny because Sinners does not have a lot of style. You would think it would. There's scenes that are stylistic for sure, but like the cinematography and the framing, it's just not very.
It was bad, wasn't it, Brian?
Yeah, it was sort of bad.
Especially in the drama portion of the movie before we get to the place. Like they would follow the back of someone's head, and I never felt like I could see because
you can't see everything
close to their face. I can't see what's going on around them.
Yeah, my wife was like, well, maybe they're going for, like, maybe they're trying to make you uneasy with not being able to see. But there's a way to do that with cinematography and framing that doesn't require, like, an actual lack of being able to see what's happening around you. And if you watch Dusk Till Dawn, like, Quentin Tarantino is a legend for a reason. He's also in the movie as one of the brothers. Well, he frames things in a way that has, like, that old spaghetti Western vibe, the old horror vibe, the old sexploitation vibe, but then it's so modern the way the camera follows, pans, and even like shoots at an angle that either makes you uncomfortable, but you can still see everything happening in the frame. I think that is one of my favorite all-time horror movies, and it's not just because Salma Hayek is, 20-something and she's absolutely stunning in the movie. But because the reveal, and I'm not gonna spoil it for you. There's this reveal that is shocking about midway through the movie before the horror stuff starts, and then at the very end of the movie, the very, very end, when the camera is like panning out, it shows this insane, shocking revelation that takes this like what looks like a simple horror movie and makes it a franchise. And they never, to be fair, Quentin Tarantino never expanded on that franchise. But there's TV shows that came out with his blessing, with equally gorgeous characters and cool actors that did really expand on that exact franchise. And if you end up watching that movie, I suggest you watch that movie And then when you're after you've seen it, watch Dusk Till Dawn, the TV series. You have to watch the movie first to really appreciate the TV series. But when you watch the TV series, of course, everything's recast because it's like 20 years later. But it expands on this insane lore that really adds to how great the movie is. Now, then you appreciate the movie even more. I just think it's a great movie, and I know there's people that don't think it's a good movie, but I think it's one of my favorite all-time horror movies.
Where did Kadish go? Did I miss something?
I don't know. He disappeared.
I think I was talking too much. You got annoyed with me.
The aliens took him.
So
Yeah,
you've never seen Dusk Till Dawn?
I
Michelle?
haven't.
Are you going to do one of your videos? Watch.
First
You've never
time
seen this
watching? I
video.
might have
First time
to.
watch. Yeah. That would be a interesting movie for you guys to watch.
Yeah, Tom says there were 2 other Dusk Till Dawn movies. I'm not counting them because they were garbage. They didn't even they had very little connection to the first movie. I just watched the first. I watched the movie and I watched the series, and those are my 2 favorite things.
Where's Matt? What happened?
I don't know, man.
We lost him, dude.
I clearly cannot take the show on because I am not an AI version of myself asking weird questions.
But it's using your sane brain waves. I know
no,
you
it's
have
not.
it in you.
It's very strange. It's very strange.
Have there been any questions since I
No,
had to take care of my
Well, I was
son?
going to ask,
It has
did any of you guys review Sinners?
no.
No, we don't really do movie reviews anymore, or at least I don't, because here's how movie reviews work on YouTube. Ready? Oh, I really liked the movie. 13 views.
Yes.
Oh, I really hated the movie. A bunch of views, whether you're being honest or not. So I can't. It's hard to review a movie and be honest because the only honest movie reviews. The only honest movie reviews are the movies that you didn't want to watch in the first place, that you legitimately hated, and the entire review is you just spewing about how garbage the movie is. The insane range bait. And movies that's my escape. I love movies and TV. I love stories. So I don't want to just watch movies that I know I'm going to hate because maybe I'll get extra views for it. I want to be able to watch everything. And the space is so flooded that the only way you can be like a genuine movie reviewer on YouTube is if you're already in it, or B, you are okay with putting a bunch of effort into a video that's going to get no views, no subscribers, and probably lose you. So
I'll put one pushback to that, which is that you can get a lot of views on a positive review. However, you need to already be established on the platform.
You have to be established. You have to be in the space. Right.
You have to be a Jeremy Johns.
Right.
You have to be a John Flickinger, right? Or you have to be like someone who has already been in the game for a long time, has built up that following. Because modern day subs are not like subs used to be. And so unless you're one of those more, I guess, like you've been around for a long time personalities where you acted in the YouTube space when it was at a very different time and things worked very differently, unless you're a part of that, it's so hard to get any sense of space, whether you're giving positive, even negative reviews too. It's just hard in today's world, but a lot easier, obviously, if you were giving negative reviews.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Matt's back. I was just going to chat GPT to get 10 generic questions from an actual AI that I was going to read in a weird dialect, but that's cool. What's going on, buddy?
I guess the gardeners knocked out my landline, so I had to connect via Wi-Fi.
Oh my God.
I don't know what's going on.
That darn leaf blower.
I know, right? All right. Blade Nicotera for $5. I was pleasantly surprised by Abe Lincoln Vampire Hunter. Sinners is overrated, boring. Kind of agree, Blade Nicotera. But Abraham Vampire Hunter had the benefit of being a book first that got adapted into a movie by the Russian director of one of the greatest vampire films of all time. So
it's such a fun movie, and so many people have not seen it. I really like that movie.
It was so stupid.
And Old Man Rising for $5.
Fun, bro.
Michelle is a blessing of light and force of nature.
Yo, old man, put it back in your pants, bro. You need to settle down. Jeez.
And
I like that comment. It was respectful.
just real quick, Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter was written by the same guy who did Pride, Prejudice, and Zombies. So, fun fact.
Really? That
Yes.
tracks.
All right, guys. So we got another discussion topic by Butch Dutters. Here we go.
Why is it that every girl in every movie and TV show is a lesbian now? Like, what's wrong with being a straight chick? Is it because men are bad, so you can only have sex with women? If so, sign me up.
Guys, what do you think? Why is every woman gay?
Because the people writing the shows are all gay. Like,
Yeah.
it's just like, it's on, and not even just that, because I think you could probably go back in time and realize that most writers and people in Hollywood in general, like at least a large percentage of them, are a part of the community. But I think the difference is that there's so many more activists that are now in the top positions, in leadership positions, and therefore it all just trickles down. And so that's why that old adage from South Park, put a chick in it, make her gay, that whole thing is because that's what the activism has led to.
Mm-hmm.
You agree with that, Michelle?
I do, and even if they are not personally gay, they will consider themselves, as they say, an ally to the gay community, to the alphabet community. And I actually brought this up recently. It does seem more and more, which is kind of interesting, because have you noticed society? I'm not saying any of this is right or wrong. Society overall seems to prefer gay men. And movies, particularly in television shows right now, are really like pushing gay women. I've noticed, like it's a real thing. I mean, that AI's picked up on that.
Yeah, I don't know if society prefers gay men, but Hollywood definitely prefers lesbians, because
They do.
I think most viewers don't like seeing two dudes hook up together. So I don't know, Brian, do you have any thoughts on that? Because you are a queer representation on the panel. You shield us from all things woke and representational.
I have very little thoughts on that. I don't prefer gay men, and I'll be real with you. When I see like the flamboyant characters in movies and television, like I instantly tune out. I know the joke is I'm queer, but I actually have zero. I identify zero with any of those characters. I don't understand them. They're annoying. They frustrate me. I don't have a problem with the lifestyle. Do whatever you want. But I don't know that it seems like those characters are constantly forced into films. Mm-hmm. They don't feel natural. The gay people that I've known, that I know now, don't act that way. They're always like parodies of what people think a gay person is, and not actual real people. Like they're not real people in these films. So
well, and now you've got my mind thinking. In fairness to what I'm trying to say, like go back to when they started pushing this in television, like A Will and Grace. They started with pushing gay men, and once I think they've got that far enough along, they've now switched to gay women. Is kind of where we are now.
Yeah, everyone's gay all the time.
Yeah, so everyone's gay.
They all want to be Jack, right? They all want to be Jack. And, they come up to you in the real world. You go, yo, man, turn it down a couple notches and act a little more normal, will you, please? Let's go. It's just no one is that. They're all parodies of what the people really like, and it takes you out of it takes you out of the story, like immediately. It takes me out of the story, especially when like every high school student now, like every high school girl, in every movie, there's always at least a couple of them that have like these insanely complicated sexual identities.
Yes.
I just didn't grow up in a society like that. Like growing up, none of my friends or high school friends, or even the girls, especially the girls, had such an addiction, I guess, for lack of a better word, to explaining their hyper complicated sexuality, and no one gave a fuck. Like no one cared. Like I can imagine now, like my friend Chrissy being like, yeah, so I'm actually non-binary. Blah, 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 blah. I would have been like, hey, guy, I don't give a fuck. Why are you telling me any of this? It's none of my business. So I don't get it. It just takes me out of the story immediately when you feel the need to make the entire character about what their sexual preference is, or who they prefer, or what they feel like that particular day. It's so stupid.
Odin, what are your thoughts on every woman being gay?
I already answered the question.
But I want to get deeper into the gayness.
Into the why?
It's got to be more gay, Odin.
It's gotta
Again,
be
it's
more gay.
because of the activism of the
Yes.
people in charge. I've already answered the question.
A lot of self-insertion going on.
Well,
My
you
goodness.
know, I gotta reprogram Butch Dutters to be at least 10% gayer, just to, you know,
Now that you have that metric,
Yeah,
now you have to
you
put
know,
that metric in.
exactly.
and you got to make them a little more retarded, like 10%
Yeah,
more
yeah,
downs.
just a tiny
So-
tiny bit more downsy. But Dutch, what are your thoughts on the fact that Hollywood keeps shoving gay women down audiences' throats?
It's just we've already discussed this, man. There's just a lot of self-insertion from a lot of bull dyke writers that are in these writing rooms, man. I mean, that's what's going on. You know, it's a lot of blue-haired, half-shaved heads that are writing scripts in Hollywood, and that's what's going on. And those are the people that are popular, and those are in that world, and the ones that are getting their scripts made. So I mean, it's like Odin said, it's activism. They for some reason they want to cater to that loud 2% of society, or I don't even think it's that high, that you know, keeps them in the limelight, in the spotlight. So I don't know. I don't watch that stuff anymore. I've honestly, man, the last 6-8 months, I couldn't tell you what's in the movie theaters. I couldn't tell you what's on TV anymore. I've really removed myself from a lot of that stuff. I'm just in my own little gamer world here these days. I don't got time for one or the other. So it's just really weird, and it's not going to go away until we quit talking about it all the time. I think is part of the problem as well. So
Yeah, I don't think you're
It is
alone
what
in
it is.
that.
yeah.
Real quick, we got $5 from Brian Keith. I remember leaving after watching Abe Lincoln Vampire Hunter and seeing a long line of horny women waiting to go see Magic Mike.
That tracks. Yeah.
That does track. All right, guys, we got another discussion topic from Butch Dutters. Here we go.
Where'd all the movie boobs go? There used to be a mandatory boob scene in every R-rated flick. You know, now it's all emotional arcs and gender sensitivity. So that's lame.
It's lame. That's the smartest thing that AI has said yet. There is a severe lack of nice boobs in movies these days. So yeah, I get it. I don't know where they all went.
Yeah,
No,
Michelle, as the only woman on the panel, like, what's your thought about boobs in movies?
I think two things. I think one, we just hit it on the question before. I think the route they've gone is a little more the gay route, so they're not really concerned with going that route. And then secondly, I'm not saying this in a good way. I'm just saying I think it's probably one of the reasons. I think in the modern world we live in, where pornography is as prevalent as it is, I think people can see boobs anytime, anywhere. So it's not as much of a thing to put, you know, back in the 70s, seeing boobs was one thing, but now, like, people who want to see boobs can see it anytime.
That's true. It's very
Yeah, you can, but I still would rather see it in a movie than me have to go search on some seedy, gross, perverse website. Like, I don't understand the aversion to sex in movies now. It's either hyper sexualized to the point where it's uncomfortable, or it's completely devoid of anything, any sex or anything sexual whatsoever. There's no like in between anymore. There's no just like natural storyline. It's always hyper, over the top, insane. Like that one, what's the one that just came out? Nora. God, dude, that was
That's awful.
dude. I started watching that, and I'm like 30 minutes in. I'm like, I'm uncomfortable.
It's
Like,
soft
this
pornography. It is just
It feels like pornography. Yeah.
Yep.
It wasn't like a movie. And so yeah, you either got like Nora, or you have a rom-com rated R, and it's rated R for like language, and there's just nothing. There's nothing romantic or sexual about it. So there's no in between. It's either completely devoid of sex and romance, or it's hyper sexualized.
I think society has just been completely desensitized to topics like that, to things like that on the movie screen. When I was a kid, when Matt, you were a kid, you know, we had movies like Porky's, for example. who you know, those were the movies. Those were like to my 12-year-old brain, that movie was like forbidden. You know, you can't watch that movie. So it was one of those movies where like you could go get the VHS tape or something, or the laser disc or whatever, and watch it, and you go, whoa, that was awesome. Did you see the boo? Did you see that Porky's movie? That was amazing. That was awesome. It's a terrible movie, but man, it had just enough of that risque stuff in it to where it was super fun and funny, and you know, it got all of us horny kids talking about it, and you know, it's just one of those rite of passage movies. They don't have that kind of thing anymore. Everything's just so, you know.
I miss the movies that have a little bit of risque. I miss that.
Yeah.
I really do.
You know,
like Euro Trip, one of my favorite all-time movies. Just enough risque to be fun.
Or you know, Showgirls comes to mind. I mean, that's
Showgirls a little too much. But
it's a little too much, but I think that was kind of the start of the too much thing.
Yeah, like American Pie. Like there's a little bit in there. It's not obscene, but there's a little bit. Is that coming?
Well, I mean, yeah.
I still put on Euro Trip like once every like 6 months when I'm working because it's so effing funny.
Amazing. Yeah. It's one of the funniest.
It's so funny.
Scotty
that train scene. That's
Scusi. Yeah.
Hands, I have seen that movie 100 times, and every time that comes up, I'm laughing my butt off. It's
Michelle,
funny. It's a funny movie.
Natalie need to be first watchers on Euro Trip there.
That's been on our list of possibly watching. He's shaking his head no. Odin's telling me no.
No, it's so good.
Not for y'all. Not for y'all.
Really funny.
Michelle, Matt Damon's in it.
That's not a big deal to me.
No. Let me tell you what's sight. He's not even listed on the cast list.
Wow, you just spoiled it for her. Good job.
You wouldn't. No. You see it in the first like 8 minutes. You're like, shit, is that Matt Damon? The crazy part is this guy. He was filming a completely different movie. This movie is actually pretty special. Real quick tip. Fact. Okay. He was filming a completely different movie, and he was friends with the director. And he's like, hey, can you come over here and, do a cameo on this thing? And he just made a beeline, took an afternoon, and did this cameo that has become a cultural, what's the term here? Phenomenon. This song, it's so clever. And they were able to get him, and it didn't even cost him nothing to get. And at the time, Matt Damon was like one of the most famous actors there were. He was an A-lister.
Yeah, he was actually in Romania doing a Bourne movie, and they were shooting in Romania as well. So he just took
an afternoon off, and it became it's a cultural phenomenon. It's like a pop culture moment that was cemented in history. It's a really good movie.
Kristen Krayuk also in that same scene, and she was very hot commodity at the time because of her role in Smallville.
Yeah, she's super popular.
Also, Vinnie Jones, the woman who played Xena, Warrior Princess.
Lucy Lawless is in it she's the sex. Dude, it's a great movie, Michelle. You will like that movie.
It's. I just want to be clear. I do think it's a funny movie. I just don't necessarily think it would be appropriate for them to watch.
They elect a new pope.
I try to give warnings when I can on certain content.
They elect a new pope in Euro Trip. So.
Oh, I know. It's been making the rounds.
Yeah, they elect a pope.
It too.
You should do
the robot scene. The robot scene is funny. Yeah, it's funny. No, there's so many good parts of that movie, and some shocking stuff that is just sort of ridiculous. It's a good movie.
And I don't think enough people comedies. Yeah.
Right, and not enough people don't talk about it, man.
Well, something else I was going to say on that subject. Have you guys noticed we've replaced, it seems, and I'll be real, I'm a female. It doesn't do a lot for me to see boobs on camera. It's just, it is what it is.
Well, Euro Trip has a lot of male full frontal nudity.
Well, yeah, there is.
Okay, that's what I was going to say. Have you guys noticed they've replaced showing some boob action, and now say even go to Sinners, we've got male nudity for a few seconds in it. Like
it's too much pain.
They have turned to male frontal nudity lately, which I definitely am not seeking out when I go to the theater.
Yeah, you're right. There's too much pain.
Yeah, there's a lot these days that I did not ask for.
The male appendage is weird looking. It doesn't shoot right. No matter how you lit it, no matter how attractive that guy thinks his penis is, it doesn't work. Okay, let's stop showing it in movies.
I agree.
Right.
The female form is artistic, perfect lines. It works.
All right. Odin is about to walk off the show if we keep talking about this. So we're going to move on.
I'm surprised that you didn't ask me about my opinion about it.
I know
knows it.
your opinion, so yeah. All right.
When did trailers start spoiling the entire movie? I hate that. Trailers are for taking a dump in a box before the movie starts. They should be used for that little buffer zone so you can get snacks, do your business, and find your seat. Am I wrong?
I like how it looks like he's reading his questions.
Yeah.
That's exactly how Dutch Butters would do it. So.
It is. I don't ever read anything. I don't even know how to read half the time. So
I disagree. I think trailers are good. My problem is when the movie says it's going to start at 6 p.m.
Yeah.
and then
30
there's like 15 minutes of theater nonsense, and then 10 minutes of setup, and then another 8 minutes of trailers, and by the time the movie's actually started, it's 6:45, and you're like, what the f? Movies don't start on time anymore, dude. I don't mind 5 or 6 trailers tops, but like I don't need 30 minutes of like theater advertising. I just don't.
No, with AMC, it's 30 minutes. So I calculate that into when I'm going because I don't want to sit there for 30 minutes.
Yeah, that's exactly what I do too. It's like all these movie theaters, 25, 30 minutes of crap before the thing starts. So if the movie starts at 11, go show up at 11:25 and you're going to be good. Especially now when you can buy your actual seats. You don't have to fight people for seats anymore.
Right.
So.
And they don't even start the They don't even start the previews and all that on time. Like it starts like 10 minutes after the fact. It's insane. I'm going to the movies today with a couple of my buddies I haven't seen for a while. And they're like, hey, movie starts at 4:00, right? And I'm like, yeah. Goes, well, I'm going to be a little late. I'm like, okay, that's cool. He goes, like 10 minutes tops. Like, is that a problem? I'm like, dude, the movie's not even going to start for like half an hour. Like, we already got our seats. It doesn't matter if you're there at 4:45. It's probably not going to make a difference.
Yeah.
Do you guys know what doesn't start until an hour and 10 minutes into the show is Tom Connors Jr.
Yeah.
Oh, look
I was
there
going to
he
take the
is.
day off, but Brian's takes have been so horrible.
Oh, here we go.
So
Here we go.
horrible.
Yes.
He just
Tom,
wants to talk. He just
I
wants
need
to
my
That I
back
had to
real
come
key.
in because I'm like, oh my God, is this dude really saying what?
What's the problem, Tom? What's the issue?
First of all, from Dusk Till Dawn not have a franchise. Oh, and I'm not counting 2 straight to it.
No,
Robert
no.
Rodriguez had a lot to do with those.
Okay,
And there's
yeah.
tons of
they're
backstory
executive
in those.
producers of Blood Money and 3, and they're both really poor movies. That's why I don't like them. I said
2
that.
was pretty decent. But so what?
Decent is a
You're still
super
acting like
stretch,
they
my
didn't have
bro.
a franchise. That was a whole franchise that existed for years.
No, I just said I don't
Before
like
the
them.
TV show.
I don't like them, and the lore doesn't really match how epic the first movie was.
That's not what I'm talking about, though. You specifically said it was a franchise they never did anything with until they did a TV show, and I'm like,
No.
what the fuck are you talking about?
Okay, so let me rephrase that. It was a franchise
There you
they
go.
didn't do anything well with until the TV show.
That's not what you said, though.
Okay, look, if you like Blood Money, that's cool. I think it's a poorly made movie, and I understand that Quentin Tarantino is a part of it as an executive producer, but the guy who wrote it, it's just they're not good movies. They're super small, self-contained, and they don't expand on the lore that we saw at the end of Dusk Till Dawn.
And then he's sitting here going,
I can talk about this for 2 hours. It's my favorite movie.
Do you realize that more people talk about Euro Trip than the original movie? It's a sequel to a movie nobody remembers.
Yeah, the one with that little real skinny guy. Yeah, because
Road Trip, yeah.
Yeah, because Road Trip wasn't as good.
I mean, they're technically not even connected, but
Yeah.
like, yeah,
I was
they're
gonna
just
say, I
same
didn't realize that they were a
producers and all
sequel.
that.
No, it's
It is
technically a sequel, but there's
supposed to be a
really like
sequel to
no,
Road Trip,
there's no
yes.
real connection. Yeah, it's a sequel. It's a sequel. But
blowing
Euro
my
Trip's a
mind,
better
man.
movie.
It was the same, yeah.
When I say people don't talk about it, like there are people my age that were prime age to watch that movie in theaters that have never seen that movie. I'm constantly showing people that movie. So when I'm saying no one talks about it, I'm not talking about the people in our sphere that watch fucking everything. I'm talking
No,
about
I know.
normies that don't watch these
But
movies.
my point is you're kind of like more people have forgotten the original and
Yeah.
talk about the Euro Trip now than that one because of the Matt Damon
Yeah,
stuff
the
and all
only
that stuff.
connection
You were right about that.
between Road Trip and Euro Trip, in my opinion, is the proctology scenes. Like they're very much
Well,
shot the same exact way.
I don't know if they have the same writers, but they have like the same producers and it's the same company. And like you said, you look at the logo is exactly the same. It's like
Euro Trip is a better movie by times 10, in my opinion.
probably.
It really is, yeah. But they both have the same plot, essentially.
Basically.
Similar,
I mean, that's
yeah.
how they're sequels. Like, it's like, we're going to do the same movie, but we're going to do it in Europe this time.
and they both get fingers put up their butt at some point.
Yes, indeed. All right, guys, we got yet another topic, and I'll be interested to hear Tom Connor's take on this one.
Why does every movie villain sound like a motivational speaker now? I don't want a TED Talk. I want lasers, lava, and lightning bolts coming out of eyes.
Yeah.
You know what's sad is that AI Dutch Butters is so much more eloquent.
Oh no.
It's true. It's true.
I disagree with them though. I like
AI.
I like a fourth dimensional villain.
No.
You
I
wanna
like
know
villains
why?
that
The
have some
answer
kind of
is
depth.
simple.
No,
It's because of A, Thanos, and B, most of these strange people in Hollywood can only understand the villains. They don't understand the heroes.
because they have to justify their own evil. That's why. Like basically,
Yeah,
it's like
that's
okay,
true.
if I'm gonna do it, if I'm gonna perpetuate my own evil, if I'm gonna perpetuate my own bad qualities, then I have to be able to justify all these bad, these bad villains. That's the reason why they do it.
Right.
Hello, Natalie.
Guys,
We got
really-
guessed.
I want to welcome back Michelle and also her AI avatar, Natalie, who's not real. She's just reading from a script.
I've met her. She's real.
Computer generated. That's what
He's a
you
real
think. That's what-
person.
It's what Michelle wants you to think. But we're not falling for it.
So she's like Simone.
Yes,
Does anybody remember that one?
Yes.
Can I
do.
go back
Someone
further
with,
on that
Al
that
Pacino?
villain question when you're
Yeah,
done?
yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I think I want to blame Dennis Hopper for a lot of the TED Talks in Waterworld. It was like every single time he was on screen, he had to make like some
Another bad take
illustrious
from
speech.
Brian.
I know.
Dude,
Dude, he
this
is awesome.
goes back to Hans Gruber, okay? The real originator is Hans fucking Gruber.
I'm not saying I don't like the character of Deacon. I like Waterworld a lot. I'm just saying, like,
It's not my point.
every time he was on screen, there was a long, drawn-out monologue. That's the way it was, and he did a great job. But if you're complaining about that in movies, that's a big movie that had a lot of that from the villain. I'm not saying there isn't other movies, Tom, that did it. That's the movie that came to mind for me.
Okay,
Dennis
no,
Hopper.
my point is this: the suave, debonair, like bad guy we can actually like comes from Hans Gruber, right? Let's be real. That was
Sure.
the first time we really had one of these bad guys where you're like, yeah, he's a bad guy, but I kind of like him, right? Because he's kind of
Right.
yeah. What was
Kind
that?
of like him.
Darth Vader.
Darth Vader, but Darth Vader turns out to be a bad dad.
Just a bad dad in general. Just a bad father.
A very bad father. Just because he does some stuff at the end to make up for leaving for cigarettes 20 years ago does not make up for it. Does not.
No,
Because
it's
dude
not.
left for cigarettes and started a revolution and took
Started-
over the galaxy.
Started an evil empire.
Odin, what do you think about movie villains? Are they too highbrow nowadays?
Again, going back to what I just previously said, I think a lot of it is the fact that the people behind the films and behind these stories have to find ways to justify their own evil. And so it's interesting how oftentimes their motivations are often things that we see in the modern day as well. People who are misunderstood, people who are misunderstood. And basically it goes back to that therapy talk before, right? About Thunderbolts being this giant therapy movie. Villains and their villain stories have all now become therapy sessions as well, where it's like, let me explain why I am evil and why all these things have happened and how society created me. And basically it also takes away any blame from themselves. So it's their attempt to try to make it so that they have a way to justify their own mistakes, to justify their own bad behavior, and say it's not my fault, it's society's. It's basically trying to say I have no responsibility for myself anymore, and it's ridiculous.
Well, I want
Exactly. I agree with that because I just want to say, because I've said this for a while, the problem with modern writers is this: they don't understand the difference between villains and heroes because they can't get around the hero. Because the hero is somebody who has something bad happen to them and doesn't take it out on society. It makes sure it never happens again to anybody else. The bad guys is somebody who has something bad happen to them and they take it out on society and they see that as justifiable.
Yes.
Right. That's such a good analysis of that. It's such a good little breakdown. So true.
That's not a good definition of Thanos, though. Didn't you say Thanos before?
Thanos is the reason why we have this flamboyant, like,
Right. Okay.
I want to ask Natalie her opinion. Who's your favorite villain, Natalie? Who's not real, by the way.
Gosh.
Put on the spot.
Yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, I did really like the Joker movie that comes to mind, but I guess I'd have to think more, like really think on it for a while, really. But yeah, I'll get back to you on that.
Dutch Butters, who's your favorite villain? You're muted, Dutch.
Old school Darth Vader, man. I mean,
Yeah, Darth Vader.
he should be everybody's favorite villain.
I'm with
That'd
Tom
be-
on that one. He's just a bad dad.
He is that. I don't know.
As much as we criticize Thanos, I think Thanos was actually a really good villain.
You know who's a misunderstood villain? Jaws.
Yeah, Jaws.
Jaws ain't trying to do nothing but
Yeah,
sharks got
it's in its nature. He's being attacked by humans. It's its nature to eat.
true villain of that movie.
Can you just put Butch Dutters up in my window so I can go fuck off and play video games? That would be really great.
No, you're contractually obligated to stay here.
The true villain in
yeah.
Jaws was the boat.
Speaking of Butch Dutters,
Why do Netflix shows feel like homework? They're all just 10 hours of slow burn existential drama. Bro, I just want to see a dragon punch a wizard.
Oh
mean,
my
he's not wrong.
goodness.
But they're not 10 hours. I
Yeah.
wish they were 10 hours. Now
think
now
the-
it's like 4 hours. They're all like 30-minute, 8-episode seasons. Sucks.
Yeah, he's not wrong.
Natalie, Michelle, what do you guys think about that? Is Netflix too much of a chore?
I don't watch. I really barely watch Netflix. Like
Yeah,
there's
I haven't watched it consistently for a while.
Yeah,
myself.
there's just very little that gets enough that either catches my eye or I hear people talking about that draws me in to want to go watch it.
Yeah, same.
What's the last TV show you guys watched, Michelle and Natalie?
Well, like new.
Any TV show. What TV
Well,
show are you watching right now?
I'm currently watching and loving, by the way, Lois and Clark on HBO, like the Dean
Oh, yeah.
Cain Superman
good.
show.
And I'm not proud to admit this, but the last like season of a show I watched was You on Netflix.
I love that.
No,
show.
I did not
I'm watching
like
the
that.
final season right now.
If you want to watch a good Netflix show, I suggest watching Blacklist. Up until like the
I've seen
fourth or fifth
Blacklist.
season.
I've
Yeah.
seen like the first
Just stop at season 5. Anything farther than that, you're gonna get pissed off.
Technically, Black isn't a Netflix show.
Yeah, it was an NBC show.
True. That's true.
Yeah.
Netflix, I think Netflix has a place that we all use it for something. I personally use it for turning on when I go to sleep because I need to have the TV on when I'm going to sleep for some reason. It puts me to bed. So I turn the TV timer on and I crash watching some World War II in color show or something. You know,
That makes sense.
and I've also the other, I am using it for one thing. I am making my way through Archer on Netflix right now. I have all the
I
guys,
love Archer.
all the guys in our Discord, they love Archer, and I missed it like everything. So
It's so good.
I am discovering Archer for the first time, and I never realized how funny that show was. It is.
I'm so jealous of you.
Funny.
That show is so funny.
Yeah, not what I was expecting, but yeah, for the most part though, Netflix is just a bunch of pretentious foreign crap and you really got to just wade through it and highlight the few things on there that are worth watching. So I mean, I just use it, like I said, to put me to sleep most of the time. So
I use Disney Plus to put me to sleep because the show doesn't
Yeah, I
play
don't-
another episode. It just stops.
I don't
So when I go to sleep, I know
use
it stops.
recreational drugs.
Yeah, that too. That works.
I mean, that would work.
Sure.
Yeah. I don't want to damage my brain, but you know what? It takes their own. Whatever.
Brian's already damaged. bro.
Brain likes drugs good.
Odin,
Brain
what do
logs,
you-
drugs good.
Odin, what do you think about this topic?
I think a lot of people on this panel need a lot of prayers. That's what I think.
I will have
Well-
you know I am living on a prayer, sir.
Me too,
Well,
Tom.
Whoa.
You know who does need some prayers are some super chatters. So we got
Yes.
Borg Porg for $2. Favorite villain Simon Phoenix from Demolition Man.
Awesome.
I'm gonna give
Awesome villain.
I'm gonna give a random villain. So the I'm forgetting what his title was known as, but from the film Serenity, the operative from Serenity.
Oh, he was so good.
I love it.
It's a
Yeah,
good
he was
show.
great.
Good movie.
Played by
Yeah.
Chiwetel Ejiofor, who
He was
is a very
actually-
underrated.
That
actor.
character was actually way better in the movie than in the series, in my opinion.
Both
I'm
were
very
great.
Except the-
though. I
except the
love
Firefly-
both
Yeah,
of
you
them.
pronounced that name correctly, Odin. I'm very impressed.
Is
And
that
also, the
Firefly movie?
series is not the same person. The series is of like a bounty hunter.
Yeah, it's
so
different.
it's a different character.
Do you know?
Simon
that's-
Phoenix does a lot of murder, death, kills.
Do you want to know what villain like I could not stand as a kid? Like I thought he was awful. Is the frickin' villain in The Patriot?
I knew you were gonna say that.
Jason
Yeah.
Isaac.
Like that dude
He's
was
blocked me.
evil. Like you really
He's blocked
hated
me on
him.
Twitter.
Jason
He's
Isaacs.
also British. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
Tom
a little twat.
hasn't everybody blocked you on Twitter?
Pretty
Has he
much.
missed?
Well, what I told because we were complaining about Star Trek Discovery, and he's like, this is ridiculous. If you have an issue at a restaurant, you don't yell at the chef, do you? I'm like, yeah, you kind of do. You tell the fucking you tell the waiter that your meal sucked, and he goes and tells the chef. The problem in this equation is you're the fucking waiter, and he got pissed and blocked me.
Shocker. Shocker.
Yeah,
Am I
Sure,
wrong?
sometimes.
Yeah,
Oh, but guys, Demolition Man, one of the best documentaries ever made. And Tom, I'm going to need your help with this one because this is from Fuck You Fat Ho for $1.99.
Jesus.
Movies don't catch my eyes. Michelle does.
Yes,
Oh,
indeed.
goodness.
Good Lord.
And of course, we have Aaron Charman, who gifted one Salty Nerd podcast membership. And Fuck You Fat Ho is focused on Michelle because we all know Natalie's not real. So,
By the way, Demolition Man is a documentary.
yes, it is.
Yesterday, I spent $87 at Taco Bell to feed 6 kids
That's ridiculous.
Well, it's the only restaurant that
$87
still exists.
at a Taco Bell.
Oh my goodness.
$87 to
It's because
feed
there is no
6
dollar
kids.
menu anymore.
Did you let him? Did you let
It's
him
the
order their own
value
food
menu now.
Brian?
Yeah.
No, I was pretty reasonable. Like I
Get
each
those-
got them a
look,
meal. You know,
Just get those things
That's
where they just
why.
melt cheese in the tortilla and they charge you like
Dude,
99
because a
cents.
meal anywhere is like $10-15 now.
no
Yeah.
matter what.
McDonald's. Yeah.
$85 at Taco Bell. I was blown away. I was like,
I'm not surprised.
cheesy
All
rollers,
those-
dude.
All those tariffs on Mexico, man, they've made Taco Bell untenable.
Oh, don't even
All right,
get me started
guys.
on this
food
shit.
isn't even Mexican.
How come every hero now has to be relatable? I don't want to relate to my hero. I want him to freaking punch a helicopter out of the sky. Know what I mean? No,
Heroes have always been relatable. I mean, that's why we
I don't
like
think
them.
this is a very good question.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why we
I
like
mean,
them. We see
I
part of
sort of
ourselves
see
or
the
things
point.
we want.
I reject this hypothesis.
I sort of see the point, but
I have
like
that shirt. I have that shirt.
we want heroes to be like they need to be something that you aspire to, right? Like Superman
Yeah.
or whatever. Like maybe you don't have to relate to them, but like you should be inspired by them and you want to be like them. Nowadays, everyone wants to be like the villain. That's why they all have main character syndrome. That's and that I blame Hollywood for that. Like they developed that. There's so little actual heroes anymore. And in fact, when there is a real hero and their motivations are pure and simple, like say something like as simple as John Wick, like they killed my dog, I'm gonna kill like 4,000 people. We sort of like that. That's actually refreshing now because we don't get that anymore. All of our heroes have a little bit of evil in them. All of our villains have a little bit of good in them. We're supposed to like somehow relate to the villain and understand, it just doesn't work the way it's been set up. We need to go back to more simplicity where the heroes are something we aspire to and the villains are something maybe we sort of understand their motivations, but we disagree with them. Not we want to be like them.
Right.
Because I mean, go back to like Silence of the Lambs. At any point, when you watch that movie, we're like, you know what? I see Hannibal Lecter's point.
Yeah.
I want to be like,
I feel like this guy's badass.
I do see a lot of myself in Hannibal, especially after he chops me up and eats me.
Right. Okay. Good point. Like that's one of the greatest villains.
I enjoy
Speaking of villains,
lava beans and Chianti. So yeah.
one of the greatest villains of all time. And at no point did I ever aspire or see myself or identify with that character. The whole point was that character is horrible. You want to see him lose,
yeah.
And then he doesn't over and over and over again.
I don't know. When I was a kid, I kind of wanted to be Darth Vader. I thought it was kind of cool. I wanted to like have a lightsaber and be able to force choke people and throw them against the walls and stuff.
But I
Okay.
think it's power.
Which is
you know,
exactly why
yeah.
you didn't have it.
But let's think about real villains, right?
Who wouldn't wanna be
I'd say,
Dr.
what about
Doom?
Norman Bates? You look at Norman Bates and you go, I identify with that guy. No, the guy's
Some
fucking
people probably
weird.
do.
Something's
Some people
something's
probably
wrong with the guy. I mean, if you do, then you have mental problems. Like these people are mentally ill, you know?
You know what though? Like I miss like the '80s action heroes, the guys who just had the big muscles, the big guns. They didn't give a fuck. They just went around and did what was right. You know what I mean?
Well, and it's funny that Brian brought up Norman Bates because he is one of the few of these characters from our era that is kind of that, right? Where he was the bad guy in quotations, but it wasn't Norman doing it. It was Mother doing it. Right. So that was how they justified that
Spoiler
in the
alert.
movie.
Alter ego.
Look, if you haven't seen the movie, and it's a 70-year-old movie.
Yeah.
And the whole next two movies are all about him going, am I crazy? Or is somebody messing with me? Because Norman eventually does kind of semi-become the hero of the series, even though he's still a killer.
Even though he's still a bad guy, yeah.
It's twisted and fucked up, but you understand it as an audience member because you know he's got this thing in his brain that goes off. And this is kind of the first time we really understood this kind of mental,
But when was the last time we had
instability.
like a Rambo? You know,
No, you're not wrong. Well, Working Man kind of works in that way. Statham is kind of taking that place, right? He is the modern Schwarzenegger,
It's true.
Stallone.
And I don't know about that. He doesn't.
He
his
totally
movies
is.
kinda suck.
His movies may suck, but guess what? Internationally, he makes more money than they did back in the day.
Dude, I
That's
thought
why they keep
Beekeeper
making
was
those
fun.
Megalodon movies.
It's
Yeah, and that's why Amazon just bought the worldwide rights to Beekeeper 2.
Yeah, they're not
Because they
good
want
movies,
more
but
of that
they're
money.
fun movies. Like
I
you can
haven't
turn
seen
your
those
brain off and just watch Jason Statham kick people
Well, there's
in the
nobody
face.
else doing them. That's the problem, right? And if there was other people, see, because that's the thing. When we had the day and age of Stallone, we also had Schwarzenegger, we also had Van Damme, we also had Steven Seagal, we also had, I can keep going for 20 minutes. Dolph Lundgren, on and on and on, down to Rutger Hauer and
muscle-bound dude here, right?
whatever home video version of that you want.
Right.
So we did kind of get flooded and saturated with that for years, but now we've had such a dearth of it, we're craving it, right? If someone were to come out with a decent Die Hard type movie right now that had a really good actor in it that we all could get behind, I'm sure that would be a very well done film. Like, look at Working Man. It didn't do great, but it did very well for what it was.
Yeah, that's
right.
true.
And those are the kind of movies we don't have anymore. And I mean, even sometimes it's like they just get away from certain genres and stuff because of, that's white men like those kind of genres. And that's why they see those kind of movies sometimes.
Nothing
and it's
wrong
been
with
that way
that.
for a long time.
Nothing wrong with a white man liking a movie, God forbid. Someone in the chat said Dexter as a villain. I gotta say, I think Dexter is a much more complicated character. He's not really the villain. He's actually the hero. And what he's doing is, evil and anti-society. His code makes what he's doing justifiable, and that's what makes the character so good.
He's kind of like Hannibal, only a little more.
Yeah, his code is what makes it okay. You understand him.
That's the big
sympathetic
difference
villain
between a show like Dexter and a show like You, where the main character in You is objectively pretty evil. Whereas Dexter, because he has a moral code where he doesn't kill people until he can prove that they deserve to die, somewhat softens like the whole serial killer vibe type thing.
Right.
Which is kind of the same thing with Hannibal. Yeah, which is kind of the same thing with Hannibal, right? Because he doesn't kill just anybody indiscriminately. It's usually when somebody ticks him off for some stupid reason, right?
He killed that guard and wore his face.
Well, that was because he had to escape. But I'm talking about like the thing that got him caught, right? Was he killed a violinist who fucked up in the
right
at the concert he was at.
Yeah, that's true.
And if you ever watch the Hannibal TV show, it goes into detail about like all that stuff.
It does. I think that I actually like the TV show.
TV show is amazing.
I like the TV show a lot because it adds more, I guess, depth to that character. As far as Dexter goes, I think Dexter would have been something that you can put in like the Hall of Fame for characters had the writers not took the easy way out when approaching some of these like moral dilemmas. Like when he had to kill Dokes and you had to force him to either kill him and become the bad guy and abandon his code, or allow himself to get turned in to protect his sister and not abandon his code. And what they did was they took the easy way out because they really wanted to get picked up for another season. And they had this crazy new, his crazy girlfriend that just came into the picture as a brand new character do it for him. And when it happened once, you're like, okay, I'll let you pass for this one time because I want the show to continue and enjoy this character. But then they did it like 5 more times in the period of the season. So I think that character could have been a Hall of Famer character had the writers not took the easy way out every time there was an actual moral dilemma that challenged his code.
Didn't they kind of screw up the ending twice more so than anything?
Yeah, well, the ending in what is it? The last one, the one where he's in the snow, is not bad. The problem is, it made a ton of money. So what they said was, well, we can't actually let him die. It made sense for his long lost son to be the one that killed him. That was a good ending, but it made too much money. So now they got to bring him back.
Yeah, here's the thing. So he's not really dead, but Dexter New Blood, I think, was the continuation. Then Dexter, the prequel series, was actually really, really good as well.
Oh, well, that was actually a continuation because it was him reflecting on his life from the hospital.
Didn't they also do a season that overwrote one of the other seasons or something like that?
No,
I can't remember. No, okay. All right.
No, it's all continual. But the ending when his sister died is lame as hell. Yeah,
they did keep retconning his childhood and stuff like that.
Maybe that's what I was thinking because Andre was talking about.
They're trying to add sympathy to the character and keep the character going like in perpetuity.
Yeah, guys, let the star of the show, Dutch Butters, get a word.
I don't remember the AI talking about an in-depth discussion about Dexter.
Oh, I don't know.
I want to know what the ladies' favorite villains were and why.
Well, I'd like to ask Natalie.
Okay,
whatever
Matt wants to do.
She mentioned you. I mean, it's in line with what we were just talking about.
All right.
What drew you to that show, Natalie?
Well, I guess it's been a few years now, I guess, since the first season came out. And I guess just it's been so long since I watched season 1. But I guess just the intrigue of it, and it definitely is dark at times, but he is a complex character, and you do see those moments of good. Like in season 1, I remember the neighbor kid, for example, who he obviously has some form of compassion for, but then he kind of takes everything to the next the next level. But he is, and if you watch the whole thing, I loved the ending of the show. Like I love how they concluded it, because it was almost like the perfect, like, sociopathic, narcissistic statement, kind of like, what's wrong with me?
Well, don't ruin the ending.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Yeah, for those of us who haven't seen it yet, yeah.
Oh, dang. But no, I won't tell you anything that happens. But it is, and as it goes on, it's just all like the twists and turns, and it is kind of like a soap opera, but in the best way. But it's like with a serial killer. And I get why people, but it's like, I got into it enough. You're like, I want to finish it. I kind of want to see how this concludes. What do you think about the show?
It's a good show. And you know what else I think is good is Super Chats. So we got John Yulden for £1.99. Great show, guys. JCVD and Hard Target is pure class.
I just watched that last week.
Yeah, any JCVD movie is pure class, guys. Brian, you also you do a watch along with Mr. Yulden.
Every Sunday we're watching Stargate SG-1. Last Sunday we did a triple feature and Torment of Tantalus. And if you haven't seen Stargate SG-1, the first season, one of the best episodes is an episode called Torment of Tantalus. Really phenomenal, like sort of character study of what would happen if someone was abandoned for like 60 years and what their mind would go through. Very good acting. It was a great triple series. Tomorrow we're probably going to do a double series double feature, because by the end of the triple feature, my wife was like ready to kill me because I had been sitting in my office for 4 hours straight. So, but we're still doing a double feature at least. What we're trying to do is we're trying to make it to the episode Hathor that shows the hypersexualized Egyptian goddess trying to take over all the men in the military. It's a great episode. Right. If you like Stargate, we are planning to watch the entire series from SG-1 season 1, episode 1 to Universe and the last episode.
You're going to be like 79 years old before that.
No, not if we keep doing triple features. I think we'll actually make it to Atlantis by the end of the year.
Yeah, your marriage might not make it to the end.
No, my marriage won't. Right.
He's married to
guys. Yeah, we married to Stargate. We got another discussion topic from Butch Dutters, so let's do this one.
Why don't they make soundtracks you can bench press to anymore? All movie music nowadays is for pussies.
It's true.
There you go.
Oh, I think that one is easy to answer because that's just kind of general beyond movie music. Like the music today, like do you really want to bench press to the pop music that we are? And I say pop, it's like all that gets put out in mainstream today is pop. Like there's really even rap is very little. It's very little in the mainstream. Rock left in about 2002.
Well, what would you call it? Is it like R&B pop? Like what would you call the main bulk
I call
of what comes out
I call
today?
the main computer slop is what I call the main.
It's crap.
It's crap.
Made
It's
in a
crap.
factory somewhere.
It is like it's not even real music. So I think the answer to answer,
slop.
I think to answer,
It's all country rap, crap.
yep. To answer,
There is
that
some
other-
good country rap. Sorry, I cut you off.
Oh, you're fine. To answer that, I just think we don't get good music to bench press to in general. So let alone with the movie ones.
Yeah, Dutch,
Like,
what type
where
of
are the
music keeps
power
your blood
ballads?
going?
Where did they go?
Exactly.
The last good one was that Lady Gaga one from Top Gun
Yeah.
2, probably.
That's true. Well, I do, and she does do those. But I was thinking of like, the ones that men could get behind in the 80s because it was a male singer. Not that you guys don't appreciate the female songs too.
Had,
You know,
had the hair
rock band-
bands.
Yeah, they would all have like each album would have like their power ballad, and it was like more emotional, but you could really.
We need more Joe
get down to
Cockers,
it.
is what she's saying.
What'd
To
you
take us
say?
up where we belong. We need more Joe Cockers to take us up where we belong, is what she's saying.
That's what I'm trying to say.
flat top heel. His version of that song is pretty good.
All right, but I want to hear Dutch. What type of music gets your blood pumping nowadays?
Oh, I'm a metalhead, you know that. But AI me, I think he's asking the questions. What happened to the actual movie soundtrack when they would put out, an album of like 10, 12 actual different songs from different
I
artists?
actually know the answer to this.
Well, tell us. Let me know.
A viewer of ours actually did the research, and they come to find out that if you go back, and it was basically the superhero movies that killed the soundtrack.
Mhm, that makes sense.
Because almost every movie before that would have it, and they would do the synergizing thing where they would try to combine, the two, have a music video that would help sell the movie, that would help sell the soundtrack, and so on. It was a cyclical thing. Not anymore. They used the superhero movie killed that big time. Like, yes, once in a while we'll get the Lady Gaga thing with Top Gun, but that's the closest you're going to get now. But yeah, no, it used to be a thing where you would have an entire album of brand new pop hits that were put out there just because a movie was involved. And, look at like the Batman Forever soundtrack is one of the ones that people love, most famous ones and stuff like that.
I think back, speaking just like the gym, a soundtrack like Vision Quest. That was a great soundtrack. The Rocky movies, of course, stuff like that. But you're right. They don't make those kind of soundtracks for movies anymore. And
So they do
it's kinda
still
sad.
sometimes. Can I suggest one real
Sure.
quick? There's a movie that came out called The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, I think, right? Henry Cavill.
with Henry.
Yeah, and the soundtrack for that is actually really good. And it came out like about 2 months after the film.
Is
Like,
it any
when-
original music though, or is it more like? See, this is the other problem. Was Guardians of the
Yes.
Galaxy is another one of the big things, because what they did was they just took all old songs and slapped them on a soundtrack.
That's true. I don't know. I don't have the answer
It's
to
Guy
that.
Ritchie. It was Guy Ritchie. So that was a Guy Ritchie film, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he always
The
does
sound-
pretty good soundtracks. Yeah.
Soundtrack
Yeah.
was excellent. Like
Because
excellent.
I feel like I had heard because it was a score. It wasn't actually a soundtrack, but I think it was a score he has used in other movies.
Well,
or
there
in
so there
other
was
times.
two. There was the soundtrack and there was a score. So he put out 2 albums, and you can actually I only know this because I bought the set, and so you get both the score and the soundtrack music, and it's really really well done. And I don't normally say that. I think the actual soundtrack is better than the movie.
Well,
Well,
in
also-
Hollywood they was just gonna say they used to think that you wouldn't buy a soundtrack that had a bunch of old tunes on it. That's why they didn't like to do that. They like to put new stuff on it. But Guardians of the Galaxy changed that.
There's also no such thing as albums anymore. It's all playlists
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's true.
Yeah, you can go find Spotify playlists for any movie now.
I just bought a Forrest Frank album signed. Showed up in the mail yesterday, bro. So there is some albums still, but yeah, you're right.
How do you know he signed it?
Well, I paid for it to get signed for my kid, and it's a marker, so I'm assuming someone signed it. his name.
Somebody signed it.
Yeah, it could have been anyone. You're right. Yeah.
Well, I like how Michelle's on a first name basis with Henry Cavill. So that's it.
Just Henry.
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 I thought you called him Hank.
Hank.
H is in it.
Yeah, H.
This is what makes
Right.
this is what makes the queer jokes. But like, I'm not gay. But if I was gay, Henry would be my first pick.
The 10% of
Wow.
you.
I don't
that is
blame
gay.
you.
That's
Yeah.
respectable.
It is
Like
really.
maybe I'm only 10% gay, but like for Henry, I might be 25.
That's the only thing Brian said all morning I agree with.
There you go.
Jesus, Tom.
All right, guys. Let's see if you all agree with this.
When I was a teen, I ate Pop-Tarts for dinner and thought The Breakfast Club was a documentary. Why are all teenagers in movies now smarter than me?
I never
Smarter
did
than
any of
me?
those things.
They act smarter. They're not actually smarter. That's the, like I said, main character syndrome. Every single movie, the character is hyper concerned with their own sexuality and what's going on. Like they're all the main character. And when you have in a movie where every single character is the main charactor, no one's the main character. It doesn't
Anybody
work.
who has kids will tell you flat out that this is one of the dumbest generations we've ever had.
Yeah, you ain't wrong. I'm not saying
They
my
don't
kids are
even know
dumb,
how
but
to
like some
do
of
anything.
their friends, bro, and
You
I gotta
guys-
be real
you
quiet.
guys
Some
are
of their friends are
forgetting-
not smart.
You guys are forgetting we're supposed to let the ladies go first.
I'm sorry. Sorry,
Jesus.
Natalie. Sorry, Michelle.
It's okay,
Brian,
guys.
Brian doesn't see gender, Dutch.
I don't see
Yeah.
gender.
You guys are very equalitarian. Is that the word?
Or no, egalitarian.
Egalitarian.
I think too. I think it goes back to the fact that there's just not very good writers. You don't have a John Hughes writing Breakfast Club anymore. You have these idiots that are
Which had like realness to it that
Yes.
people could relate to and kids could relate to.
But you have these idiots that are hyper obsessed with pushing certain agendas and, dealing with sexuality more than just writing a relatable character that like we all can relate to. People, you can relate to some of the characters in Breakfast Club. Like they feel real.
you're going to
It
see
feels-
yourself in one of them or a couple of them. you know?
Yes. So you don't have the writers that are capable of doing that anymore. At least that get the opportunity to do so, at least.
Well, Odin, you actually deal with the youth of America on a regular basis. What's your take on that?
Well, I think the youth of America have need a lot of help because for them, they think "Lava Lava Chicken" is a really good song, and that's all they're singing these days, it seems. And having one of the things that I asked about my kids in the beginning of the year is what their favorite genre of music is / artist. And some of the stuff that they come up with is just makes me sad. There's always going to be a few who have good parents who will say like a classic rock band or something like that. Unfortunately, most of them though, it's either because especially in the state of Tennessee, it's either going to be country, like modern country, or rap. And I just can't.
My
stand
kid
it.
wears AC/DC shirts and loves the band Kansas. I'm raising at least one of my children correctly. I guarantee you.
My kid's about the same way, but here's the point with what Odin's getting to. Do you guys know what the #1 music video on YouTube is?
What?
Lava Chicken.
No idea.
It's the no, wait, I know this. It's the shark one, right?
Yes, Baby Shark.
Fucking
Yeah,
shark. Yeah,
that's
that
right.
stupid shark. Don't say it. I don't want it in my head, please. No one's no.
Baby shark.
To
It's
me,
in my head
this generation
24/7.
has no real music, and my kid will be one of the first to tell you this. Right? Is that most of the modern music just sucks.
Okay,
Well,
Danny Go. Danny Go is actually fun.
There is some stuff. I'm not saying there's not, but it's so you got to like seek it out. A lot of cases, and once in a while,
Yeah.
something accidentally good will break through. But when most of this stuff is produced by the same 3 producers, the same 3 writers for every artist, you got Beyonce out there doing country. That would be like Dolly Parton doing a rap album in the 80s.
or Beyonce.
That's what I just fucking said.
Yeah, Beyonce doing a rap album in the 80s.
Well, she was like 5
How
in
old
the
was
80s.
she? About 6
Like,
She did, I'm sorry, I meant the
during
90s.
Dolly's
Because
prime was my
she did
point,
she
but
did a rap
yeah.
album like 3 albums ago, and it was just as bad.
Someone needs a counter of how many bad takes Brian has had this
What? It's
stream.
true. She sucks. I'm sorry.
I love Brian, but sometimes I just want to smack him.
Fine. Get over here. I mean,
He'd
maybe if you
probably
get here,
like
maybe
it.
if you get here on time, you can smack me more often, bro.
He would probably like it and be
Same.
like, "I'll be your bottom bitch."
We can switch it, bro.
I don't swing that way.
No.
I made Tom laugh. I've never made Tom laugh. That's a first.
I laugh more than you guys realize. I'm just
I
off screen.
don't think I've ever
smoking
seen you
dope.
smile until this exact moment.
It's because
Tom
we got
watched all the
women on
time.
the panel. Yeah.
They are kind of throwing the vibe off a little bit. We don't know how to act around women. You two, I'm sorry.
We're all sucking our
We're
guts.
all
I don't.
just
I'm not
old.
acting any differently than I always act. So
You know where the gym is?
I see my wife like 12 hours a week, and it's usually when she's sleeping. I have very little interaction with her.
That's very
Yeah.
creepy, Dutch. You
yeah,
should stop watching
Dutch
her sleep.
watches her sleep. He just sits next to the bedside and watches her
I
face as she
remember.
sleeps.
That's
When we were
kind of
young,
oh,
but
Sweet
While,
but creepy.
while sharpening a knife.
Oh, you just had to make it super creepy. It was just
yeah.
sweet but creepy when he was just standing there for hours watching his wife. Now you
Hello,
just took it to a
Clarice.
whole nother level.
Yeah. Season 6 of You starring Dutch Butters.
does that weird version of me have anything else to say?
Yes,
That's
it
what I'm
does.
wondering.
But before we get to that, we have a weird super chat. Old Man Rising for $5. When the forces of lights are talking, it's rude not to full screen them.
Wow.
Just saying. Yes, that's right.
I like
That's
that
true.
name too.
There we go. We'll just keep this as the view for the rest of the show,
Hi.
just to please the chat.
You need to
There-
up the
there we
resolution.
go.
That's on their end, Tom. So I can't do anything about that. But what I can do something about is the final Butch Dutters conversation topic. Here we go.
Why the hell is every TV series 6 episodes long now? What happened to the 21 episode season? You used to be able to take your time and enjoy a TV series. Now everything is made for TikTok.
Okay, I missed the
Yeah.
gimmick here. Did you write these questions, Matt, and just have AI Dutch Butters do this? Or you had AI come up with them completely on its own? How
I
does this work?
programmed an AI to think
Okay.
like Dutch Butters and then asked it, what discussion topics would you like?
And he's already
talk
been like,
about-
I would never ask that.
No, he's
Yes.
been pretty good. It's been a
You
pretty
said
good.
you didn't eat Pop-Tarts.
He doesn't know like a lot of the intricacies, but
Okay, I'm just
I've-
picking on it.
but as far as the topics have gone, he's
Well, we already know the
Not-
answer to
not
this
bad.
too, is because streaming.
Yeah.
Streaming. Everything on streaming became prestige series, and prestige series used to just be a few things on HBO, Showtime, and like AMC and some of these other channels on cable and stuff. But then all of a sudden, every show is a premium prestige show, and when every show is basically just a big movie chopped up into 6 episodes, that's what you're going to get now. They
Well,
don't
they're
do
like
the traditional seasons or
miniseries.
anything.
Yeah, they're all miniseries.
Like what used to be called a mini series in the 90s, something special came up, but it's like that's like seasons of shows today.
Pretty much.
Yeah, how long has
Yeah.
it taken Stranger Things to get their final season out?
Oh my
That's the other
god.
thing.
It's going to be like
I
in their
know.
50s by the time it gets out of here. What's taking so long,
Seriously.
girls? Do you know what's taking them so long?
Yeah.
Well, they had Stranger Things, unfortunately, but I say unfortunately, the extra time made a really good season 4. So maybe they can do that with the ending. But they had basically all of 2023 was out when they were set to record and had everything ready to go, because then they got hit with the writer's strike and then the actor strike. So it really pushed things back.
When it rains, it pours.
And it is very clear to me that Netflix does not have with any of their shows, for the most part, maybe some, but with these big shows, Stranger Things, Wednesday, they do not have what the old channels used to do with the actors' contract, where their show was first, and if anything else interfered, oh well, you belong to this show and this comes first. And I think that's
They
been a
consider
problem.
that more kind to the actors. I
Yeah, well,
think.
it's not kind to the audience having to wait, 2 years for Jenna Ortega to do 5 movies before she can return as Wednesday.
But
Yeah,
it's
right.
weird for shows. It is to make that much time in between.
It is. Yeah. And then
What's-
another thing too, I keep bringing this up, but it goes back to a writer's issue. I mean, good Lord, they can't write 8 good Daredevil episodes anymore, let alone if they had to do 24 like we used to get on network television.
Preach. I don't know what's going on with the state of TV series, and I understand it's like they want people to come watch that season and stay subscribed, and they know they can do that. There's probably some kind of algorithm where they can do that with as little episodes as possible. But not only are there less episodes of TV, less story, but even in the episodes, there are more filler content than real content. I have never watched a series, and this happens all the time. I was never watching a series like, say, Stargate or Chuck or one of the things, Dexter, stuff we talked about earlier, where you watch an entire like 5-minute scene of someone parking the car, walking up to the door, unlocking the key,
Yeah.
coming into the house, putting their mail away. And unless it meant something, unless there was a reason for it. But now you have these 30 to 40-minute episodes, 8 episodes total in an entire season, and half the episode is shit that doesn't matter. It's in reality, you can make just one long movie out of every one of these, every season of TV nowadays. Stupid.
It's true.
It's true. Odin, what's your take on these shortened TV seasons?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of it's already been said, but ultimately it comes down to just a lack of creativity to a certain extent, an attempt to try to also maybe save on some money as well. But really, this move to streaming has been the biggest factor, I think, into why all these changes have happened. And it doesn't help, especially when you've got these, and I know that you're a fan of it, but these garbage Star Wars shows that it takes you 6 to 8 episodes just to get to a point. And to me, that's lazy writing.
So
Dude,
crazy. Yeah, you're talking about
the
Andor.
The last 3 episodes of Andor were amazing. They were so good.
Well, I'm glad that you had to get through 6 hours of mediocre crap. Or
no, dude, I've been enjoying all of them, and everything's been building up to these final 3 episodes. So like, there's payoff happening if you guys watch from the beginning. So I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Just saying.
You and Ryan should go have a little double date together watching all these.
It's easier to binge them. Like if I think if the first season was bingeable, it would have been like a completely different animal. Real quick, we got Caveat Ties for $2. What happened to Monster of the Week episodic TV?
Yeah, for real.
It went away with streaming.
It went away with streaming. That's the answer.
Yep. They don't make like Supernatural or Smallville or anything like that anymore. It's all like mini movies, like Tom was saying. It's all.
And I desperately miss it. I miss it so much.
It is very missable. All right, guys. So I wanted to get your take on what did you think of Butch Dutters' discussion topics today? Thumbs up, thumbs down.
2 thumbs up.
2 thumbs
If
up.
I had a third, I'd give it a third.
I would say half a thumb up. I think Dutch Butters is more interesting than Butch Duster. So
I had fun. I'll say I had fun.
Yeah. Do you prefer my topics or Dutch
Well,
Butters
definitely
AI
prefer
topics?
your topics.
There's less reading with.
Well, but there's less homework. So
There's less reading.
Not that I've ever done the reading anyway, so I don't even know why I'm bringing that up.
Yeah. This is a hard one.
All right.
I don't know. I find the whole
Because
thing really
with
weird and
work at
strange.
FNT, I'm like, I have no time to read any of these articles.
I know. Yeah, that's the whole thing. But it's fine.
AI.
I know.
AI is it's weird. It's very weird, and it's changing the world. I mean, pretty soon you'll be able to make an AI of all of us on this panel here, and it can sit there and it'll do a 2-hour show.
Matt's not even gonna need us.
And we won't
I
even
know.
need to be there. It's gonna be.
I think it could be a fun
Awesome.
gimmick to do like once a month or
Well-
once every couple of months of like, hey, let's have the AI version of ourselves create the topic list. or
Well,
something.
AI Tom Connors would always be on time. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. He's not wrong.
He was hanging out in the chat for like a good hour.
I
before
know.
he just
Yeah.
like,
He could have been here. He
could
the
have been
only
here.
reason he came was he's like, you know what, Brian, come, I'm logging on.
Brian, your bad takes just baited him to come on and do his job for one.
Yeah, what you don't know is it was planned.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
But you know what else wasn't planned was the fact that Butch Dutters had a farewell message that he wanted to
What?
give the panel
Oh, no.
before we
Jesus.
wrap things
But
up.
wait, there's more.
So here is the swan song from Butch Dutters. Here we go.
Mr. Kadish is the greatest live stream producer to ever live. He is both the smartest man alive and the sexiest. Jude is a lucky gal. Mr. Kadish is an inspiration to us all, and we are all better for having him in our lives. I honestly don't know what life would be like without Mr. Kadish. He is the sunshine on a gloomy day. All hail Mr. Kadish. He is my most favorite person ever. Huzzah.
It's so touching. Dutch.
I'm
You
now
know-
starting
Really
to question
appreciate
whether
that.
any of these questions came from the
I'm,
AI or if it was just you the whole time.
Brian and I are going to get together and plot my revenge, okay?
Yeah.
So that answers my question from earlier. And seriously, I can't believe nobody else has seen this movie, Sim One with Al Pacino.
I've seen that.
Oh,
movie.
you
I've
have?
seen it.
Okay.
No, I've not
Yeah,
seen it.
like I saw it.
I
back
saw you answer the
when it came out in
question.
the theaters.
Dutch, I have
No,
access
everybody was
to
like,
a
nobody
super
had any
AI.
idea what I was talking about.
Yeah,
We're gonna have some
but
fun
I-
with
I've
this.
got
but Dutch, you're gonna have to wait for like at least 3 months for
Dirty
Brian to
Harry.
generate the one video.
It does take a long time.
Yeah. Anyway, guys,
No,
we
it's
have a
all
lot
good.
to
And
talk
they're
about.
nothing but compromised.
Yes.
Fucking, oh man, they look horrible, dude.
Guys,
Everybody's
had
like,
a
they
lot to
look
talk
so
about
great.
today. We had a lot to
And
talk
we
about
talked
today,
about it.
and we talked about it. I want to thank everyone for being here today. Odin of OMB Reviews, the man, the myth, the legend, who has a new pope. Any final thoughts, and where can people find more of you?
New Pope.
Yeah, we have a Habemos Papa, and we have a Pope. He's been very busy today. I've been looking on all the socials, and still don't know how it's gonna go. So all we can do is just pray. And I will say right now, even just after a day or two, it's already better than the last 12 years. So we're off to a good start. So anyway, you can find me over at OMB Reviews, where I will have my box office breakdown tomorrow. It's looking like Thunderbolts is holding strong, possibly second or third best hold for any MCU film. So after having the second worst opening in MCU history, having a fantastic hold still has a ways to go, because having a much lower start means even with a good hold, you still have to make up for that money you didn't get in the initial opening weekend. Still has a lot to make up. And also, I don't buy that it only costs $180 million to make, because we all know Disney always overspends with their projects by at least $100 million versus the reported budgets. And so we'll talk all about that tomorrow once we get the official weekend numbers. And hey, thanks as always for having me on.
Yeah, good stuff. Okay, Tom Connors Jr., any final thoughts? Where can people find more of you?
Yeah, as Odin says, the new pope is very busy. If you want to share my screen here,
Oh boy.
he's busy planning trade wars to take over the galaxy.
We already saw this.
That's weird. That's so weird.
It does
Also,
look like him.
Honestly, that might be another cardinal, actually. That might be Zoopy.
Could be.
Zoopy looks a lot like.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I just did it. I was being funny.
Tom, tell us what you like.
I do like turtles, like
I like turtles.
and I like whiskers on kittens and sunshine on rainbows and all that gay
These
stuff.
are a few of my favorites.
Just 20%. The gay stuff.
25%, 25% gay.
Then I don't feel
25%.
so
Wow.
bad.
28.7.
Check out Force Light.
Yes.
Yeah, we're going to get it. Ladies, thank you so much for classing up the joint while you came on here. Michelle, it's always a pleasure to see you. Natalie, you don't exist, so I'm not going to say anything about that. Any final thoughts, and where can people find more of you guys?
Yes. Well, first off, thank you for having us.
Yes,
I've had a lot of fun.
This is a blast.
It was a lot of fun. We'll do it again. Also, you can find us at Force Fight Entertainment, where we do movie reactions. We watch a lot of older movies that are, I'm finding are significantly better than most modern movies, because we do reviews of new movies as well. So check us out, Force Fight Entertainment. But thank you.
I do have a quick question for Mr. Butters. When did you start going by Dutch Butters? When did you start?
It's been a minute.
About a year ago.
Yeah.
I
Oh
think.
my
Yeah.
god!
It's been at least a year, because
Yeah.
we've been doing the gaming channel for over a year now. So
I need to
probably
catch up.
pushing a year and a half. Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
it.
I had to shed that Star Wars stink, so I wanted to get rid of it. So yeah.
It's a good name.
You're talking to the Force of Light girls, bro.
Well, that can mean so many
Wait,
different
we were
things.
never just a Star Wars channel, though. So I don't.
That's true.
Yep.
All right. Well, speaking of nerd stink, Brian from the Popcast, do you have any more bad takes, and what's going on with the Brain Show immediately after this program?
Bad takes. I don't think Thunderbolts is a bad movie.
It's a bad take. I'm glad that you admit that.
It's not a bad movie. It's not a good movie, but it's not a bad movie. I think it's the best of the bad Marvel movies lately.
Such a.
And then I criticized.
So it's not the biggest pile of crap.
And I
but,
criticized
it's
that
just
there
a
was
tiny
way
pile.
too much talking and dramatic crap, for sure. But it wasn't bad.
No, but the problem with these reviews where people are like, "Oh, the movie's not so bad." This is why people are going to see it this weekend. And it's kind of gonna. Honestly, I think we all should have just not gone to see it. Period.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
it
I'm not.
taught them a better
Here's the
lesson.
deal, guys. I'm not a movie activist. I don't care if you guys go to see the movie or not. I'm not trying to tank a theater because I don't like a movie. I don't really care. I'm not an activist. I'm telling you genuinely, I enjoyed at least most of it. I would say 60% of it. Okay.
I'm not an
Not bad
activist either, but I know the only way to tell these fuckers we don't want no more of this crap is to stop buying their crap.
Yeah. Well, I'm not sure if that's going to work, and I honestly don't give a fuck if it works.
Well, also, Brian's going to be playing demonetization roulette.
Yep.
In about 15 minutes. You want to tell everyone what's going on?
In about 8 minutes, I'm going to be talking about Kanye's new song.
Oh man!
Just Google Kanye's new song and see what happens. I'm gonna be tiptoeing on eggshells with the YouTube algorithm to attempt to cover this without getting demonetized. I did realize that the other YouTubers that had already covered it, their videos are all gone, which is really frightening. I had a whole list of them, and now they're all gone. So we're gonna be talking about that, plus Trump's candy addiction, fun, and the My Pillow guy using AI as his legal representation is really funny. So it's going to be a good show.
All right, guys. Well, stick around because we will automatically redirect you to the Brain Show, and Brian's not going to take any breaks. He's going to pee in a cup and then get right into it. So just stay tuned for that. But Dutch Butters, thank you so much for allowing me to clone your brain for one show. It made my life a little bit easier this week because I didn't have to come up with quote unquote stupid titles for.
You're a scary, scary individual, Matthew. And,
yes, indeed.
I
do you have any final thoughts? And what's going on with the gaming channel?
Oh, the gaming channel. We're continuing to grow. We just crossed 5,000 subs this last week, so we're going to be doing some giveaways here pretty soon. I need to get together with Salty and we'll figure that out. We're going to be giving away some Steam points and some Steam dollars, maybe a little merch. So we'll be doing that. And we're still doing, we're plugging away. I got a new schedule out. We're streaming 3 days a week. We're going to be releasing some videos a couple times a week, lots of shorts. I just hit level 150 on Helldivers 2. So we're level capped there. And now we're exploring some new games. I've been playing some, the Forever Winter here lately, and we're going to be doing some other stuff too. It's been a lot of fun. So thanks for being there. I know I got some gaming channel guys in the chat. So salute to you guys, and let's keep it going.
I just noticed Latino Slant Paulie in the chat too. What's up, bro? Good to see you.
Nice.
See you, Paulie. Big shout out to everyone who gave us super chats during the course of the live stream. We got Hemorrhoid Hertz, Mexican Iron Man, Fuck You Fat Ho, Kaliki Oki, Mark of Reality, Blade Nicotera, Old Man Rising, Brian Keith, Borg Porg, John Yulden, and Caveat Ties. Misspelled his name, but sorry about that. Anyway, guys, I want to thank our special guests, the lovely ladies of Force of Light, one of which is not real. And be sure to check out their channel. They do good stuff over there. And you guys are also on the Dub show occasionally, and Valiant Renegade.
We are.
And all those guys.
Well, I am. AI Nadley's not.
Yeah, they can't afford the bandwidth for AI Natalie or Natalie AI is
Natalie.
Yes. But everyone, thank you so much. Be sure to tune in next Saturday, same salty time, same salty channel for more Salty Saturdays. And until then, stay salty, my friends.